God. We're glad to be in God's house tonight. Amen. Feels good already, don't it? Been thinking a lot about David this week. All the trials he went through. And sometimes he didn't always have everything just lined up perfect, but he found grace and forgiveness in the sight of God. I want to start in Psalm 56. This is David speaking here in Psalm 56, starting verse 1. It says, "Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresses me. My enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me. O thou most high, what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me." Even though David had all these enemies against him, he says, I'm not going to depend on my own strength. I want to depend on God to get me through this. And we must remember that today, no matter what we're facing, we must depend on God to get us through. We have to rely on his strength. When all of our enemies have got us surrounded, we got to look up. Say, God, help me. Because I'm nothing on my own. I can't get through this by myself. I must depend on your strength, your guidance. We've seen what happened when David went out on his own. Committed adultery, he lied, tried to cover it up. We must continue to follow God. That leads me to Psalm 23. Psalm 23, very first verse. The Lord is my shepherd. I pray that you can say it tonight. The Lord is my shepherd. What is a shepherd? What does he do? Watches over sheep, takes care of them, leads them from pasture to pasture. Think about what David was before all this. What was he doing? Was he not a shepherd watching over the flock? So he knew what it meant to be a shepherd. Now here he's saying, the Lord is my shepherd. Now he knew what it was like to watch over the sheep, to provide for them, to watch over them, to keep them away from the danger. Now he relates that to God. He's saying, the Lord is my shepherd. I just prayed you could say that tonight. The Lord is my shepherd. When I try to go this way and it's not right, the Lord is right there saying, hey, you're going the wrong way, come back. He's not just going to let me keep going. Because he is my shepherd. And his voice I listen, and I will follow him. The stranger will I not follow. He says, my sheep know my voice, and they follow me. So David knew what he was talking about when he said, the Lord is my shepherd. He knew what it was like to be over the sheep. He knew what it meant for the Lord to be his shepherd. And I pray you know what it means tonight. The Lord is my shepherd. He's my provider in what I need. He don't just throw me out there on my own and say, take care of yourself. You're not alone tonight. The Lord is your shepherd tonight. He will supply all your needs tonight. That leads me to the next line of the verse. I shall not want. He is going to supply everything I need. So that makes me not to want, because he is my supplier of everything that I will possibly need to get through this life. He will supply for me if I will follow him, if I will trust in him and continue to follow him. I shall not want. Are you satisfied tonight? Are you satisfied with where God's taking you, God's leading you? Can you say that? Can you say, I shall not want? Verse 2, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He don't lead you where the grass is dried up. There's no water. There's nothing there for you. I just there what God was thinking. I seen green pastures up here at the altar. I seen the flock coming up. You are His flock tonight. God has before you green pastures for you to walk in, for you to graze on, for you to lie down in, to enjoy. That's what God has for you. Again, I go back, the Lord is my shepherd. I must follow and trust Him. He leads me beside the still waters. He will find rest for your weary soul. He said, come to me, that all you that are laboring heavy laden, I will give you rest. I will lead you to these green pastures. I will give you that is a thirst to drink. I will give you rest for your souls. I'm sure David at this point, I'm sure there was times he was so wore out and everything that was going on, he's like, oh, I just can't go no further. Do you ever get like that? Do you ever get to the point, I just don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm just ready just to throw in the towel and give up. But those that trust in the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings like eagles. They shall run and not faint. He restoreth my soul. Restoreth my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He's not going to lead me any other way. He's not going to let me go astray or lead me astray. He's going to keep me on the straight and narrow way that I'm supposed to be on. If I listen, if I follow Him, if I let Him guide me, if I let Him guide me on the path of righteousness for His name's sake. Not for my name's sake, but for His name's sake. The Bible tells me that every good and perfect gift is from above. Every good and perfect gift is from above. It's from God for us. Every good and perfect gift. He wants to lead us to those green pastures. He wants us to get there. Verse 4. It says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Now, I want just one word I want to point out here. It says, though I walk. There's going to be a walk of life for you. But you have to choose who's going to be with you through that walk. Who are you going to follow through that walk? Where are you going to go through that walk? It doesn't say if I walk. It doesn't say if I won't have troubles and trials and temptations. It just says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Trouble is going to come. I mean, everybody's going to have their troubles and sorrows. But yeah, let's go back up to verse 2. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. But yet, there's still going to be a walk that we must go through, the valley of the shadow of death. The walk of life. We're surrounded by all these things. But yet, we must continue to walk. It doesn't say stop. It doesn't say stop and look around and see what you can get into. I think what it says walk through. Walk through. Think about that. That is a forward, steady pace. Just walk through. The trouble you're facing, maybe facing tonight, keep walking. Don't stop. Don't sit there and just give up. Continue walking with God. Because He's going to lead you. He's your shepherd tonight. He's going to lead you through that valley. He's going to lead you to those green pastures and to those still waters and find rest for your soul. Though I walk through. What happens if we stop? Look around, get distracted. Our journey hasn't proceeded, has it? We've held ourselves up. We've stopped. We've let the trials and stuff of this life keep us from getting us through the valley. It says, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Aren't you glad the Lord's with you? Amen. No matter where you go. Amen. You go to the deepest, darkest place here on earth, and guess what? The God is still there with you. Right. You go up on the mountain top, God's still with you. You get up on an airplane and fly in the skies, God's still with you. Right. You can go to the moon, God will still be with you. Amen. No matter where I walk, my God is with me. I will fear no evil. The Bible tells me God hasn't given me a spirit of fear. Fear anything or anyone. Because He is with me.
That's right.
That's why I should not fear, because I know my God is with me. In Him I will trust. What are you putting your trust in tonight? I thought about this too. The word walk, it says to walk. What happens if I just take off running wide open? Think I may stumble and fall? Why? Because I wasn't really letting God guide me, was I? I took off. I left Him back here in the pasture, and I took off looking for another one. Now, I'm thinking about the pastures. Now, I'm sure after the sheep had been at a pasture so long, they would move on to the next one. They would find a greener one that would restore what was once there, but there's a greener one over here. This one needs time to grow and to flourish back up. So I'm sure there was journeys that they had to take with their sheep. And that's kind of journeys we got to take. Kind of the pasture to pasture, I called it. It's just something the Lord showed me. These walks we got to go through to get there. In this case, the grass is greener on the other side. But you got to follow God to get there. One day it's going to be gold. We don't have to worry about the grass. We're going to be on streets of gold. You know, I'm sure he led his sheep a lot of times from pasture to pasture and had dangers and places they had to go through that might have been dangerous or harmful, and he had to guide and direct them through these. So I think David had a really lot of confidence in what he was saying here when he talked about the Lord being his shepherd and these things as he spoke of. So I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, unless you're not familiar with the terms of the rod and the staff, the rod, the best way I could tell you, was used for protection. It was used maybe to ward off danger or to keep the sheep safe. And the staff was like a support, a walk. The shepherd's staff, they would walk with it and use it for support. So when you think about that, he says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. He finds comfort in the protection of God. He knows God will keep him safe. He will watch over him. And that staff, God, you're my support. You're the strength I rely on. You're my staff. You're what I lean on. You're what holds me up. When I stumble, your staff catches me when I fall. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're surrounded with, God can prepare a table before you. God can still prepare those green pastures before you tonight. He will still lead you to them. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Aren't you glad that one day you're going to be able to dwell in the house of the Lord forever? You're not going to have to worry about the journeys through the valleys, from pasture to pasture. You're not going to have to worry about the evil, the enemies, the corruptness. You're not going to have to worry about that anymore. You will be in the house of the Lord forever. Now, I'm going to go back to the first 4 minutes. Something that struck me. It says, though I walk. You know, David in his walk, you know, even though he faced a lion, even though he faced a bear, even though he faced a giant, even though he faced King Saul wanted to kill him at one point because he knew he'd been anointed king and was going to take his spot. Even though you may be troubled tonight, you shouldn't fear, for your God is with you tonight. If God be for us, who could be against us? Just thank God He is my shepherd. He leads me in the way of righteousness. There was a time I went astray. But the Bible tells me He'll leave the 99 to go after the one. One time in my life, I was the one. I thank God He left the 99 to come after me. He found me. He led me back to the green pastures. He restored my soul. I just praise my shepherd tonight. Now, John 10:11, Jesus is speaking, says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. I thank God my shepherd was willing to give his life up for me. He was willing to die for me. He was willing to shed his blood on Calvary for me. That's the kind of shepherd I got tonight. Who's your shepherd tonight? Who have you been following? I pray it's the Lord, the one true God, the one true living God. Now, there's going to be valleys of life we must walk through. There's no getting away around it. We got to choose who we're going to follow. We got to choose who we're going to serve. You know, Jesus went through the valleys. He went through trials and temptations. A lot of things He went through, we'll never have to go through. Many of us have been lashed in the back, flesh torn apart, beaten, spit in the face, crown of thorns put on our head, nailed to the cross, hung on Calvary. How many of us have went through that kind of valley? Wonder what Jesus was thinking that when He was up there on the cross. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. I'm sure Jesus found comfort in God and His Father. So that's what I want to ask you tonight. Have you been led to the green pastures? Maybe you're going through that valley. Maybe you need some guidance, some direction from God. Maybe you need to depend on His rod and staff to comfort you tonight. Y'all come get us a song tonight if you want to. If anybody's here to sing or not.